The game of basketball has taught me a lot about life. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned was that you can't plan everything out and expect it to go according to plan. Let me explain. When I was in my freshman year of high school, by the way, I got a tennis ball. When I was in my freshman year of high school, I had this idea in my head that I was going to make the varsity basketball team and I was going to be the star of the varsity team. That didn't happen. I didn't even get an opportunity to play on the varsity level. Then my sophomore year came around. Now, in my head, I'm thinking, all right, I didn't get what I wanted. My dream was to start on varsity as a freshman. All right, this year will be my year, my sophomore year. And yet again, didn't do too hot. I scored just 13 points on the season total. That's it. So I averaged maybe 1 point a game. So here I am, thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for basketball. Honestly, I was an idiot for even thinking that I would do well that young, and who am I, right? I haven't done anything. I should just stop, cut my losses. Maybe I'll just play rec basketball. It's over. But thanks to a few people around me encouraging me and my own little voice in my head that told me to just keep going. And also, just by the grace of God, I think in my junior year, since I persevered, I was given my opportunity and I flourished and I became my team's MVP. I made first team all conference. I scored 410 points that season. And then I was feeling good. Everything was now falling into place. My goal of being an 1,000 point scorer at my high school was right on pace. I was looking at the horizon and I could see it. And then in my senior year, I broke my shoulder in the last scrimmage before the regular season. We had thoughts of a playoff run. I was going to be the leader of that team, and it still frustrates me to this day. But for whatever reason, God decided that that was not the path I was going to be taking. After that, I was out for about 5 weeks. The doctors originally told me I would be out for 8 weeks, but I came back early because I wanted to play on my senior night, and I did. Unfortunately, the story gets even better. Coming back early made me run into some issues. I had nerve damage all down my arm, and there was pins and needles, numbness, pain, you name it. And so I had to deal with that for the rest of the season. I finished the year maybe scoring, I think it was like 150 something, playing about 13 games, or 14, 15, something like that. It wasn't a very memorable year for me. Honestly, I've tried to forget it. Then, when I left high school for a year, I had so much resentment towards the game of basketball. I didn't even want to play. I didn't want to look at a basketball. I didn't want to be a part of it. And so I didn't play for that year. Of course, having the shoulder injury really forced me into that. It exacerbated it because every time I shot a basketball, it just hurt like hell, to be honest. It hurt. And shooting a couple hundred shots a day really took a toll on me during the regular season. So I stepped away from the game as a player. But through that, I found a passion for coaching. And I started coaching players pretty often. I started coaching you guys through my channel, actually. I started working with players one-on-one and in groups. I've worked with players all over the world now, and it's been truly a blessing. Now, I'm playing in college. And to be at the spot where I'm at today it's different than what I had initially thought. My freshman year self thought that it was going to be smooth sailing and I was going to have D1 offers. Um, but, unfortunately, my story didn't go that way. But then again, maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe my life is, you know, good just the way it is, and where I'm at right now is where I'm supposed to be. Maybe I'm at where God wants me to be, and maybe you're at where God wants you to be. Because if God wanted you to be somewhere different, you'd be somewhere different. His will is stronger than ours. Now, that's not me telling you to be complacent and stop working hard or whatever, but what I am telling you is don't worry. It's hard not to worry. I fall into worry a lot myself. And I have a hard time with posting these videos and then falling into the same patterns I tell you to avoid. I want to be somebody that actually practices what I preach, And so, through the uncertainty that I face, I'm trying to use it as an opportunity to follow my own advice. And the bottom line is your plans, your dreams, your vision for what you want will not materialize in the exact way you thought. Think about Apple, Steve Jobs. Whenever we talk about Steve Jobs, we talk about how much of a visionary he was and how he changed the world with Apple, with the iPhone. And he definitely did. But something you probably didn't know is that he was against the idea of an iPhone. Back in the day, he had the iPod, right? Some of you guys don't even know what an iPod is, and that breaks my heart. But he had the iPod back in the day. And when people within his company, some of the engineers, they said to him, "Hey, Steve, look, we should try to make a phone, we should get on this mobile phone craze." Steve Jobs was against it. He said to his engineers, no, why the heck would we do that? Because that's going to siphon away the sales from our iPod, right? That was where his head was at the time. His idea, his dream, his vision was, okay, I'm going to take over the market with the iPod. Fast forward a year or so, the engineers finally convince him, let us work on this new phone. And they do. And within a few years, it's like half their profits, half their revenue, and they become a huge company and everything's going amazing, right? Now, let me tell you about their competitor. A lot of you guys may have never heard of this company, which once again makes me upset, but it is what it is. I might just be unk now. BlackBerry was the name of this company. They sold phones. Well, they sold not the phones that you would know about today, but the phones that had the keyboards on them, right? And the owner of that company, the CEO, he loved his product so much. That was his baby, the BlackBerry phone. He loved it. Well, before Apple had launched the iPhone, his employees had told him, hey, maybe we should get rid of the keyboard. Maybe we should, get a touchscreen or at least attach an internet browser to this phone. But he didn't do it. He said, nah, people don't want to tap their screen. They want to type. Nah, if we put a internet browser in our phone, it will take up too much space, too much storage, too much bandwidth. And you know what happened to the BlackBerry company? Well, you probably never heard of them. There's a reason for that. Apple took over the market. So all of this to say, it's good to be steadfast in your goals. I think that's one of the only ways, if not the only way, to achieve big success. You've got to be convicted of what you want, and you got to go after it, of course. However, don't get attached to the path you had in your mind. it may not be the same. You may have to adapt, and that's okay. Your life is not a movie. It's not a straight line path. There's not one big dip and then a huge climax to the biggest moment of the movie and then everything's perfect in the end. Then there's the end credits. No, it's not how it goes. There's a lot of ups and downs. Sometimes the downs really freaking suck. Sometimes they suck. Man, and sometimes it feels like you don't feel cool. You know, like in a movie, the main character, it's like, dang, we're following this guy's journey. Like, he's a cool dude because he's going through all this pain, all this hurt, and we're seeing it from that perspective. But man, when you're the one going through it and you don't know what's going to happen next, you don't have any idea that, okay, maybe this all will turn around, and you're just going and you're not stopping, it sucks. It's not fun. But if you can find the joy in it all because you just love your craft, you love basketball, and you know the results, whether they come or they don't, it doesn't affect you, I think you're going to be really successful, man. So, I love you, man. I hope this video helped you. And I just wanted to get this off my chest. I love you. But as always, keep God first. Stay blessed, bro. Love you, man.